hello colleagues, I wanted to do a short video where I just walk through the different components of the full state review program paperwork that you will eventually turn into me, and then I will submit it to the state for your various programs. So what I thought I would do, because I've created a master template with the full state review, which you're not going to have to enter too much information into, but you will have to enter some. I have that template up on the right, and then on the left I have the checklist or instruction sheet for what you need to complete on it. So I thought I would go through the instruction sheet on the left, and as I'm doing so, indicate where that area or that element is on the template on the right. So if you can have out your checklist and have a printout of your full state review, I think that would be the most helpful for walking through this process. So when we're looking at the template on the right, I will type in the exact date of submission when we submit, and your date of submission will be indicated on this checklist at the end, and I don't want you to worry about it because many of these are not going to be turned in for quite some time. Many of you will have over a year. So I just wanted to get this process rolling because I know you need to fit it in amidst all of your other work that you need to do, and I wanted to give you ample time to get the information that you need. So I will type in that official date of submission when I submit. I'll also type in the name of the institution. I'm going to be the person that they will contact with questions, and I'll review everything, so you can just leave that information as such. You'll notice on the checklist on the left, the very first thing you have to enter is your license code, and that differs based on the program. If you're submitting for elementary ed versus AYA social studies, and to find out that numeric code, you're going to visit this site right here, and then you just type in that code. For the most part, all of our programs are going to be undergraduate. For elementary and for intervention specialist, you will submit a copy of this paperwork a second time, and you will simply change from undergraduate to post-baccalaureate. I believe it's going to be post-baccalaureate at the graduate level, but I need to verify that, but don't worry, that's a minor change once it comes. We just have to submit the same paperwork twice because they are two different programs, even though they consist primarily of the same coursework. Okay, so 1.2 is for the most part already filled out for you. Everything is continuing review. There's no new program that we are starting. The next part on your instruction sheet that you will need to fill out is part 3. So you're going to skip over this part 2, seeing that I've already filled out all of the candidate admission requirements. So we will come down to part 3. And for part 3, we have to complete the faculty information table and collect and attach faculty CVs as our appendix items. So you're going to do that right in this part right here, filling out that information. You can just email your colleagues that teach any coursework that are non-gen eds and ask them for the information that you need to fill out this chart. For the elementary education courses and for intervention specialists, that's pretty much going to be all of us, so you should be able to get that information pretty quickly from us and from the adjunct faculty. It might be a little bit more difficult to get it if you're acquiring the information in the AYA areas, so just be aware that you may need to give those instructors in the English, history, and math departments, respectively, a little bit more time to get you that information. So under part 4, now we come to the curriculum, and this is going to take up some portion of your appendix items. We see on both of these that you are first asked to attach the state-provided crosswalk as an appendix item. I am going to give that to you. You are also going to attach a SPA and course alignment matrix as an appendix item. I will send that to you as well. I apologize. The state-provided crosswalk is already on that flash drive that I gave you. That's thoroughly done. If you've lost it or something, no worries. Just let me know. But the SPA and course alignment matrix, I've redone all of those, so I am sending that to you in the email that goes along with this video. You also are going to need to attach syllabi for all your non-gen ed courses, which again will go in the appendix along with those CVs of the instructors that teach those courses, which you listed in that table in part 3. You will also need to, under Part 4, list the courses in your program that contain preparation connecting the K-12 curriculum to long-term skills and career fields. You'll notice that I actually listed these courses as a comment, and it follows this explanation of how Ohio licensing is included in the program, along with education on the resident educator program. If you skip that, which is completed for you, right here is where you need to provide those courses. I have a general explanation, and then it varies what courses address this depending on the program. So if you come over to the comment feature, you will see that I have put it right here, and so you just copy those that apply to your program, put those in there, and then you'll delete my comments after you've completed all of this paperwork. Okay. Then you are also going to need to make sure that you attach the course information sheets for the 12-hour reading core for early childhood, middle childhood, and intervention specialist. For AYA, you do not need a 12-hour reading core, you just need content area reading, so you will just attach the syllabi for EDU 320. Then we come to the OAE scores. What you're going to want to do is you are going to want to have the last 3 years of data, and you're going to want to have the student level. All of these are going to be undergraduate for you unless you are in elementary education or intervention specialist. And remember, you're going to do a second submission, so then you will have post-bac for student level. You'll have the number of candidates enrolled, and then you'll have first attempt pass rate and best attempt pass rate. Alicia will get you all of this, and you will go ahead and create a different chart based on the test. So for elementary education, for instance, they have to take subtest 1 and then subtest 2, foundations of reading, and they also have to take an assessment of professional knowledge. So you're just going to copy this chart, and you'll copy the number of times for the number of tests. So for elementary education, there's 4. For every other area, there is just 2. You have your assessment of professional knowledge, and then you have your content knowledge. So you would copy this 2 times to reflect the pass rates for the quantity of tests that you have. Okay, then we are going to skip the next part, and we also skip the substance abuse part because that is already completed for us. And we come down to the part where we have to attach our assessments. So we're also skipping the field experience because all of that is in there, and so is all the information on placement types and student teaching. The assessment portion is where there's a big difference because the assessments are different depending on your content area. I have attached an email I'm sending the 4 assessments that are unique to your program. All the information is in there with the exception of a small analysis of the data for the last 3 times that that assessment was administered. I have a note inside the assessment that says exactly what you need to put in there. It's very minimal. Alicia will just give you a mean score for the last 3 years. You can look at the data because all of the data that we collect is in a rubric, so you might be able to see, oh, the student scored pretty low in this area, they scored really high, or maybe they scored high in everything. Why do I point that out? Because I do ask you to just quickly point out some strengths and weaknesses, because at some point in the future, what I would like to do is for each of us to take our programs, and when we have our strategic planning, just give a brief update on how the students are doing in each of these assessments in the content area. So if there are some weaknesses, we can then discuss how we might need to change some course objectives or some program objectives in order to better prepare and support our candidates in those areas. But if we go ahead and we denote those in our program review, then we'll have that there as a source and documentation moving forward to then report to everybody so we know where we need to make improvements. The next and final area that you fill out is the appendices. The appendices are, they just need to be labeled according to all the attachments in the order that you're going to attach them. So you're going to start out with your CVs, and you see an example here from Grad Ed. You have your CVs, and then you might have your program sheet, and then you're going to have all of those syllabi that are listed, and then you're going to have your 4 assessments in there as well. I talked about our timeline. The first programs that I'm going to submit are the middle childhood programs, and I'm going to submit those in January 2021. So I'm on the chopping block first. And then Susan and Kathy, you're going to submit at that same time to me. You'll turn in the AYA History and Social Studies. And then we have a good 6 to 8 months before we will submit the rest of the AYA and the Elementary Education and Intervention Specialists. So as you're reviewing all of the various files and the instruction sheet and this master template for filling out the full state review, please let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. We've got plenty of time to work through any kinks in this process. But do know that I am so grateful for your support and assistance in this process. This is huge to us building a systems approach to assessment and developing a really strong quality assurance system that I know CAPE is going to love. So thank you all so much.